What's up, guys? I recently bought a $4,000 collection, and today we're going to check it out together. So I'll start off with just these stacks of cards. These are all EX Emerald reverse hollows, and then on many of them on the back, there's also a non-hollow to go with it. These are all pack fresh from a master set that I picked up. Very cool. They're all in decently, near mint condition. I purchased these with the knowledge that the PSA 10s had already been selected out. However, the seller sent me a bunch of photos of like the average condition, and so he also sent me the worst condition copies and the best condition copies, and the worst ones were like a PSA 7. The best ones were looking like 9, potentially 10 contenders still. I know the seller that sold these to me is pretty familiar with condition checking cards, and so I think he just picked off like the top percent and had a pretty high gem rate on those. Particularly, like, you'll notice that there's no EXs or gold stars or whatever. I don't actually think that there were gold stars in EX Emerald, but I digress. So that's that. These are actually part of technically a different collection, but I'm lumping them all into just one pickup for this like $4,000 plus number. Similar to before, you'll see a non-hollow on the back. These reverse hollow cards from Expedition, they used to be so much easier to come by. They're becoming a lot more scarce now. But these are all near mint copies, like some PSA 9 worthy, not all. So pretty cool. Obviously some trainers there. We've got the Houndour, and again, they have their non-hollow counterpart on the back. Mareep, Weezing, Corsola, Clefairy, Cyndaquil, Caterpie, Butterfree, Rattata, or Rattata. I always say Rattata, but I feel like the more commonly accepted one is Rattata. Maybe not. Kingler and Rapidash, pretty cool cards. The non-hollows are also in pretty near mint condition as well, so that's something cool worth noting. So I picked up all of these Expedition hollows and reverse hollows and non-hollows for $700, and then this collection plus the EX Emerald singles that I showed you, I picked up for $3,500. Now these are kind of interesting, and I'll show you these before I dive into the binder. So these Jesse and James decks are from EX Team Rocket. They're pretty sweet. This is the last set that I opened as a kid. As you can see, the Jesse deck is still sealed, where the James deck is not. And let me show you why. So they're side folding. So in here, everything is still sealed. But what we have on the front of the James deck are these Dark Dragonite Cosmo Hollow cards. Which obviously, this Dark Dragonite is absolutely sick. I pulled a reverse hollow of this from a pack when I was a kid at the mall, sitting with my dad on a bench. And I remember thinking, this has got to be one of the coolest cards ever to have been printed by Pokemon. And then with this, you have like the insert and, the little booklet and stuff. But the person who sold me this collection obviously didn't open this any further just because of centering. It's off center, left to right, as you can see, and a little bit top to bottom as well. So he thought it best just to leave the deck sealed in order to maintain as much value as possible. My intention is probably to open that and then see if the non-hollows are going to be gradable, because that is a good repeatable strategy, right? So anyway, same situation with this deck, same card being the Dragonite. And then I also have this EX Unseen Forces deck, which same thing, this is just plastic cling wrap, but it has this Cosmos Hollow Lugia in the deck as well. So that's a pretty desirable card, and it's off-centered, but again, I'll just check out the deck list and see if the non-hollows are going to be gradable. And then we have these two Jesse decks that are still sealed, as well as this Legend Maker Golem deck that is still sealed. So honestly, the Cosmos Hollow Golem is pretty sick, if you guys have never seen that one. But yeah, so I've got those sealed decks if anyone's interested. It looks like this Golem deck has a little bit of a rip, but I won't lose any sleep over that. I'll just disclose that if and when I sell them, depending on how I go about it. And then last but not least, we have this binder. So this was formerly an EX Emerald Master Set. And then obviously it has been sorted out. Some of the cards I showed you earlier being in this stack here. But this is what's left over inside the deck, or inside the binder. So here you can see the old checklist, and here's a pack art set. There's just little energy cards backing those. So really old school binder. This is cool. This is like the OG way to collect binders. Now the seller ended up giving me these hollow energy cards for free, just as like a throw in. I mean, I spent $3,500, but point being, he didn't charge me for those. A couple of non-hollows there, pretty cool. And then there's a bunch of these, two, before we dive into the actual set. So this is a pre-release Grumpig. The seller said that he had not condition checked the Grumpigs. So let's just take a look at one together. Yeah, that's pretty clean. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome, right? So looks like some of those Grumpigs are going to be gradable. I'll just have to see what company makes the most sense. And then see, I've got about, 11 of them. So pretty solid. I don't suspect that they're all going to be in gradable condition, but obviously some of them being that way will help recoup some of my cost elsewhere. Really cool. Zangoose, is that Nishida? Oh no, that's Midori Harada. Cool artwork. Okay, I'll flip through these because they're just kind of like non-hollows. Sorry, I'll cut to the chase here. All right, that Ninetales is pretty nice. So some of these cards too, I'm still going to be looking to see if they're gradable. I don't recall. I'll have to look back at the conversation, but I'll have to look back and see if he pre-graded the non-hollows as well. Again, like Larvitar would be a good one to send off. And then here we have some more of the reverse hollows, and I'll just pull out some random one. That Pichu is pretty nice as well. So the unfortunate thing is they're double sleeved, meaning there's two cards in the one sleeve. So maybe that's not double sleeved. Okay, so we'll just pull out this Mudkip by example. And I'll get this into a fresh sleeve. But look at the hollow. Clean. Clean. And then here's the back. White dot, white dot. That's it. Maybe a little something down here. But like that, my friends, is a clean old card. So something like this could still potentially be a grading candidate under the right circumstances. And again, it's just that 7th grade mathematics that I'm always preaching here on the channel. So I'll just have to crunch some numbers and see if it makes sense. And if it does, I will do the thing that makes sense. And if it does not mathematically make sense, then I will not do that thing. So I'm just going to do whatever the math shows me is advisable. So obviously some cool ones here, like Pichu is a big winner, Ralts is a popular species. So those are more of the ones that I care about the condition of. And then here we have all the trainers, which actually look quite cool. These colorless reverse hollow stamps. Some more here. That is such a cool card. I'm a nerd for this stuff, sorry. And then this page feels super thick, so there's probably duplicates of all that stuff. And then getting in here, I do actually have one EX card, but it is Japanese. Let's see how condition looks on this puppy. Yeah, I mean, nothing is popping out to me. Obviously, I wish you guys could see, but I have my view is a little bit blocked by this thing running about here through my camera, so I can't have a full screen view like you guys do. But yeah, I mean, this looks pretty clean to me. This Camerupt obviously is not the most popular species to know mankind, or in mankind's history, rather. But still, it's an ultra rare from the EX era, and obviously if any of these non-hollows are gradable, they'll be sent off as well. We've got some more energies. It looks like those are just non-hollows. TV Reporter, the reverse hollow in English, is really expensive. But yeah, so this is kind of what's up. This is a $4,000 plus collection. Comment down below what you think. Is this all you thought it would be? Is this a crazy pickup? Or do you think I'm a fool for buying a binder like this? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.